All right, how is everyone on this morning?
Amazing.
Ooh, we like amazing.
Just good.
We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll give the ladies out yonder a second to jump on. All right, and Miss Toy, are you working on the prosperity stuff that Andrew sent? That's what you're doing now? Okay. And Miss Crystal,
Yeah,
did you already?
I sent the email just now.
Okay. Those of you who do have access, who have gotten your prosperity emails, have you gone in to look around at anything? I will take that as a no.
Which you walked us through yesterday.
Okay. Have you gone into Carlos's applicant to click around at all?
I have not.
Okay. All right, Miss Madison, Miss Andrea, good morning, good morning.
And I forgot to sync my emails to each other for me to get those.
Stuff at home?
I'll do that tonight.
All right, all right, all right. So I'll give it one more minute. You said I didn't do something. I'm sorry.
I didn't sync my email to
Okay.
my cell phone. I forgot all about it last night. So when I sync it, then I can get into my emails here to go through the links.
I don't have my own email account. It's still under someone named Travis's, and when I try to remove it, it says he can't be removed because he's the primary profile, and I don't even have a password to sign into my email.
So you haven't been getting any of the emails?
Yeah, but it's secondary to Travis. Like, I see both his emails and my emails.
So Jason
He
can
never-
take that off for
He
you?
didn't. He
Okay,
came in
he
here.
can. So I'll make a note for him to do that.
Yeah, Carlos was like that too.
Yeah, and he came in here. He worked on it that day for like 30 minutes, but it's still on here. Travis Ringlow.
But you are able to get into your email.
I can't sign out of it because if I do, I can't get back in. I don't have a password.
For your Outlook?
Yeah, I don't have anything. He never gave me any Outlook information because it's still under Travis.
So how have you been getting your email?
Because it's never been signed out.
How have you been getting, because I haven't been sending Travis emails, so how have you been getting the
I
big
can
emails?
receive emails.
Okay.
All he did was put it where I can just receive it. He just went to the settings and put to send and receive for Toy, but Travis Ringlow is still the primary account.
Okay. Good morning.
I
Well,
apologize, might be a minute or two late. I got Stephanie on call with the state office.
please. All right. So we're gonna review a little bit, and then we're gonna jump back into the application and finish that.
We have
We have this item.
not decided, started.
I haven't started.
We're waiting for you, Miss Hannah.
What now?
Not true. We're waiting for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
Your hair looks great today.
Thank
It's
you.
great, isn't it?
All right, so recap, mods 1 through 9, we have all seen, touched, felt, read through all of the mods, yes?
Yes.
So right now with us going through the application, this is mod 7. So this is literally when you are in mod 7, this is what you're doing as far as moving through the application. When it says jump to application in mod 7, it gives verbiage for both the social security request and for the account information request. Everything else, again, we know already. So we'll jump back into the application, but I do want to refresh from the previous mods because at this point, everyone should be very aware of the purpose of each mod. And very aware of the fact that we are not just reading through the script, even though we are just learning the script. When you are out there role playing, which you guys will do more of today, you are going to want to make sure that you're hitting the objective of each mod. Yes?
Yes.
All right. In mod 1, we want to make sure that we are setting the tone for the call. You are ready, you are on stage, you have alpha call control, and you are, again, letting them know who you are, why they are talking to you, why they should be happy to be talking to you, and what you're going to accomplish on this call, the goal of the call, what these policies are, and how you're going to try to see if we can get them approved for one of them. You are providing your national producer number, your name, you're introducing yourself to the client. I know I stated this before. I believe I stated this before. If not, I will say it again because it was mentioned in our morning meeting that if the client does not have a pen and paper handy, you do not need to wait until they get it. You move forward by saying, okay, well, typically I start by providing my national producer number. You can grab that pen and paper later and let me know when you have it. But my national producer number is boom, boom, boom. My name again is Crystal. The national producer number is 1526222. That's important because, and you move right into mod 1. Andrew made a great point this morning when he stated that you giving them the chance to spend 5 minutes looking for a pen or looking for a paper, it takes the alpha call control away because you're giving them too much push and pull and right. So you want to let them know, well, don't worry about that. I can text that over to you. You're not going to stop then and start texting it. You let them know, I can send that to you, no problem. My name again is this. I want to make sure that you have my national producer number because it is very important number. So I'll say it even if it's just for the recording, and you proceed. And then you will again make sure that they have that later, or when they get the pen and paper to take down your contact information, you can give it to them again then. Again, the script is live, the script is living. You want to make sure that yes, you are staying true to the script, but that you're making it, you're walking the client through the performance. It's a performance. So don't just get caught up in the reading of it, but you want to make sure that you're delivering the message of each mod. Yes?
Mhm.
Yes. All right. Mod 2, we are building rapport. We are building rapport. You guys should be rapport. You guys are naturally good at building rapport. You want to fine tune that. Don't get so comfortable like, oh, I'm just going to talk to him. Remember that you want to be praising in the rapport. You want to be asking questions and asking follow-up questions so that they know that you're actually listening and engaged in what's going on versus you just have me doing this interview and oh my goodness, wow, how long is this gonna be? You don't have to tell them, oh, I know we've been on the phone a while, or in the talk, we're not talking anything about final expense. We don't want to set the tone for, oh, thanks for bearing with me. No, we want to create excitement around the fact that we are talking. My job is to get to know a little bit about you so that I can help you out. We can figure this stuff out. I can get to know what product is going to be best for you. You want them to feel good about the fact that they are making a friend that is going to be able to assist them with putting coverage in place to help their families. So we're not asking beneficiary or talking about beneficiary or we want them to feel good in this mod. So if they are talking about a lot of debt, you want to, give your condolences, but you don't want to deep dive, ask too many questions. You'll bring that up in mod 4. Very good. So, and in mod 2, remember, we are getting information, so we have an idea of where their funds are, or where their funds are coming from, what they do for work, what they did for work. And who they love, who they spend time with. If they don't have family, well, do you have friends that you're pretty close to? I know sometimes blood is thicker than water and you grow bonds with people. You want to get a feel for what it is that, or who it is that they are really connected to. Mod 3, we are putting on our medical hats and we are going into that. We are asking questions. We are taking time. We are letting them know how important it is to be honest with us, because the more information I have, the better I'll be able to assist you. I will let them know who the MIB is and let them know that that is important, but you want to make sure that you are taking your time so that you're pulling your prescriptions or have them pull the prescriptions, checking the medications, using your prescription list to be the Bible. If it says left, then we're going to go left. Even if all signs in your mind says right, if it says specifically it's one thing, you want to go there. You'd much rather err on the side of caution, and build out. Prepare the client for the fact that, oh, okay, we got these things on here. I'm going to do everything that I can. Some companies may not be able to, but again, I'm not tied to any one company. I work for you. We're going to see what we can do. Just don't hold it against me if I can. Move into mod 4. So I know we're talking and all this that you've told me so far. Now, have you ever had to pay for a funeral before? Because I get it. I mean, it's tough. Yes, no, insert story here. Yes, ma'am, Miss Crystal with the C.
I just want to clarify, so if, they had a medication on the list that said like ever not qualified, then you would do what? Because I know we told them that we don't work for one company. So
The
we would just
programs
do
that you
dismissal thing,
offer,
or
right now, if they have a knockout, then yeah, you can't move forward. So you'll have someone reach out to them with possible options, and you can, if you're that far in, send it to someone so we can check on guarantee, or at least quote them for guarantee issue coverage. Because at that point, it's not, if it's a knockout right at the beginning, it's not as pertinent. But once you've created that rapport and gotten that deep into the call, then that would be something that I would send over to myself, and I'll get it to somebody, or I'll send them some quotes or call them with some quotes about guarantee issue coverage.
so I'd just be like, oh, I'm sorry, that medication, and I don't have any carriers that provide coverage with that medication.
Now, that
I'll send
medication in
somebody.
particular does make it really difficult for us to be able to find you coverage. What I'm going to do is have one of my coworkers look into some options for you, give you a call back.
Okay. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Right, you just make it sound
But I
like,
just
oh,
wanna
we're gonna help you.
clarify.
I don't, yeah, typically that doesn't happen. You get that far in, you're usually good to go, but it does happen. But then again, if it does, and you do have made that connection, you really want to help them, because you should want to let one of the teammates know, hey, I have this, you want to call it, or give it to me and I'll give it to one of them to reach out to. Mile 4, again, insert story. So what we're going to do throughout the day, I'm going to individually touch base with, I'm going to try to get through all of you to at least get some insight or some feedback on what you have going on with your story. So if you do not have all of your stories done, let me know and I will do you guys tomorrow. But at this point, you're going to be going live here soon. If not not Friday, probably Monday. So we don't want to not have stories. You do not want to be prepared. So if you do not have a story for all of the scenarios, let me know, but I'm assuming that everyone does. So when we sit and when we talk about the stories, don't not have, and unless it's one that you really truly don't have anything for, then we can talk about it. But you guys, from the feedback that you've heard already, some of the stuff that you've gotten from the teammates, and even in talking, you should have an idea around something, even if you don't have a specific, you should have some idea of a story. We can break it down further. But yes, please and thank you. Have those ready. I will be getting with you guys starting today on that. So insert story here. You want to make sure that you are, the biggest thing with Mod 4 is evoking feelings, getting them to discuss their feelings, getting them to open up with you about what it is it would feel like for their family to be in a situation where they have lost them. The client is no longer here and their family suffers with figuring that out on top of trying to figure out how to pay for it. So ask questions, get the information, give them your stories. Remember, feel. If they're laughing and too up, you want to let them know this is, I know we've been laughing and joking and really comfortable, but in all seriousness, what would happen if you didn't have coverage in place? Or I know that you said you're working, but if you retired, would they have, if you live past your employment, would they have 10, 15, 20? Most of us hope to live past employment. If something happens to you after you are no longer working, would they have something in place? How does that look? What would they have to do? I know it's a lot of family and you want them to come together, but is that something you want to leave to them, or do you feel like it is your responsibility? I love that you feel like it is your responsibility. That says so much about you. You love your family so much, and that makes me glad to be able to help you. I love my job because people like you make me excited to be able to help their families find solutions. All these things. Praise, praise, praise. You are wonderful. You are awesome. Let's see what we can do to make this happen. So if they have other coverage in Mod 4, this is when you're going to ask those questions. Do not be afraid. Talk to them. You want to still create a reason for what you have to be used. And there's always a reason to have a little bit more. So you listen to their stories. Okay, I understand. You do not want to be combative. You do not want to make them feel bad about any coverage that they have. If they have term policies, a lot of people have term policies. Oh, that's wonderful. But they do terminate. So I'm glad that we're speaking today so that even when that policy terminates, you know that this will still be there to cover those final expenses. When you go into Mod 5, anything that they've said prior to, any of the product features that are going to help you drive home points that they have previously brought up, any response blocking that you need to do, that should be happening throughout the whole call as they say things that you may feel may come up later on. They're talking about their kids, they're talking about this other coverage. You're going to use this time and times before to do the response blocking and to still praise them for, I know you have this and who knows what'll happen with it, but the fact that you want to make sure that regardless of anything else, you have a little something in place for your final expenses. You're so wonderful for that. But we also want to use Mod 5 to drive home those points, especially if it's talking about whole life, permanent whole life. With those work policies, a lot of people don't know that of those policies that you may get in the mail or have with work, or that they do expire, that you have to die by a certain age or it won't pay out. And you talk to them about whatever it is that they've said. So I'm so glad that we are talking, because with this company, this you won't have to worry about it. Who knows what may happen with that, but we have the price lock, permanent whole life, cash value, all of the features and benefits of Prosperity. You want to make sure that you are making it relatable to them so that they understand. So take time there. We're going to start pulling quotes there. We're going to move into Mod 6, which is the congratulations. Any selling, response blocking, anything that you need to do, you want to do it before you give them those quotes, because once those quotes are out there, then that's the loaded gun. You gave them the gun. So unless you take the bullets out prior to giving them the gun, you are shooting yourself in the foot. Oh, that went together perfectly. All of that makes like that's really what it is.
She's like, I'm
So that was good. That was good.
happened.
But no, that really is what it is. So unless you have done everything that you need to do, not even unless, being that you have done everything that you need to do up to Mod 6, which you will. You're coming out, you guys know the process at this point. It's just learning to become a process ninja and executing it the same way every time, like it's your first call. You don't know, you're gonna learn stuff, you're gonna get better at certain things, but you're not going to change the process. You can build off of and get better with executing the process, but the process is the process for a reason. So master it, learn it, understand the whys behind the words, you will be fine. Mod 6 is the payoff for everything that you have learned. You ladies with me? You guys following? Any questions? All right, Ms. Madison, thank you. Mod 6 is the payoff. No questions. Okay, thank you. Quoting. Ms. K, questions? So Mod 6 is the payoff. Mod 6 is where you're going to provide the quotes. Mod 6, we should sound just as strong and casually confident in this mod as we did the others. So when you are providing the quotes, you are going to make sure that you have quoted them appropriately. Bless you.
Thank you.
There is no worse or faster way to get a client off the line than to give quotes that make no sense to them because you haven't paid attention. It is inaccurate. It just doesn't make any sense logically. Everything that I've told you up until now, clearly you haven't been listening to me. Where did these numbers come from? So response blocking and giving them a little insight on, ooh, the rates might be high, or hopefully all of those things should already have been done so that when the quotes come, one of your three should be something that they are comfortable with, they select. If not, you want to have your bottom option or be ready to provide a hardship option or a lower low.
Just wondering, because I know most of them are on Social Security, or disability. What is really the average? Is there an average for like what a Social Security check would be for like regular middle class? Is
No.
there,
There's no average because things come up, but they have other things going on. So they may be on Social Security and disability, but also have family that there's an African lady that I just got a policy for. She wasn't working, but she babysits her grandkids. So she has no income, but she selected $123 premium. I think it's $123. It's actually so yes, you don't know. So in direct response to your question, there really isn't an average. It depends on the type of work they were doing before, the state that they retired from, a lot of those things.
so it's kind of area.
Right.
Because
So
it's like how much taxes you end up paying when you
It's
get
all
to that
right.
age or something, right?
it's all
Yeah. It's
So, yeah,
before,
it's
it'll
not
be way
average.
before that time.
It's there is no average, so you're just getting a feel for it because they could be on Social Security or disability, but still have income and be traveling and doing all this stuff, and they love boating, and you want to kind of have an understanding of that. But if they are on Social Security and disability, and they're also talking about how tight money is, and they haven't done this before because they had a policy for $42 that they couldn't maintain, and oh my goodness. So okay, you're late. You might want to at that point. I'm saying in general, $50 would be a good low, but that's generally speaking. Because if someone said they've had trouble maintaining a $40 policy previously, then you want to make your low maybe $35 and be ready to, but we can always come back with something else. You want to make sure that you're listening to what, actively listening and proceeding with that information. So they're giving you stuff to help you decide where to quote them, but you still are the professional. You don't want to give them a, oh, she said 45 was too much. Okay, so let me do 40, 41, and 38. There's really no wiggle room, or you don't want them to all be, even if it's 40, 30, and 20, that's still not really giving you much of anything. So maybe you'll have like a $60 one, a 40 or a $40 one, and then something that's like 32, or it depends, because this is without seeing, because you're gonna have to plug those face amounts in to see where you fall, but just the idea of, okay, how much, don't have to be low, this is gonna be a low one, but you don't wanna cheat the process because you know this is probably gonna be a low premium, because in all honesty, she needs coverage. She knows she needs it. She had it before. She tried to keep it. She just couldn't maintain it. So this may be one that might be a $25 monthly premium. But would you not feel right? It's helping them. It's still something in place. It's something that you know she can maintain comfortably, and you won't have to chase her down each month wondering what happened. I saw that this was insufficient funds. So doing what's right for the client, it might be, again, a $20, $25 premium. You have to be okay with that, because at the end of the day, your job is to help them protect their family, and you help enough people get what they need, it will all work out in your favor.
Still make you feel good.
Yeah, you
Above
should.
anything.
Because, and then a lot of times people, those are some of the best calls, and they do make you feel the best, because this person has been talking, okay, thank you, Crystal. This person has been talking to all these people, has wanted coverage for so long, they're just getting older, it's getting more important for them to have something, and no one wants to take the time out. And that means a lot, because at the end of the day, they still need, everyone needs it. So don't just, oh, you can't afford it. They'll make you feel the best, and who knows, they may have a daughter, a sister, and 3 aunts that also need coverage, and because you took the time to help them get that smaller policy, you might get 4 other small policies, or maybe a small one, 2 big ones, who knows, but your job is to build that rapport so they feel comfortable, and you never know. As long as you're following the process, everything else will follow suit.
Called karma.
You know what? My script and the book doesn't match. Yeah,
That's
the
not-
page that you have,
Uh-uh.
34, page 34, module 6, the approval, doesn't exist in my paperwork, even though they are numbered numerically in sequence.
Okay, follow me, Ms. Hannah.
Yes, ma'am.
The binder numbers are different than your script. Your script is standalone. Your script should be soft copy. You have that electronically. This paper script that you have, you're really only using it for training. I don't know what you're showing me.
Okay, what I'm saying is, I can find all the modules, like module 5 right here, okay? There should be a module 6, but there is no module 6 listed anywhere. Right there it is, it's on the bottom.
So it's the next
There it is.
page after.
That's what it is, okay. Got you, so I got it then. I could never understand where that was, and I meant to ask.
No problem. We're gonna bring it back though. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so mod 5, let me rewind real quick, because Miss Susan asked a question yesterday that was a very good question, or made a statement. Question 7, I don't know, but she has information about, she found out about how the work policies don't pay out very
Well,
often.
the temporary, that I had seen somewhere, tell the learning process, only 2 to 3% of those temporary policies pay out.
Yes, okay, so
Yeah,
term,
for term or
okay, so term policies,
That's
less than 2% of
Pay
term
out.
policies pay out. I thought we were talking about work stuff, but less than 2% of term policies do pay out. And they take a long time to pay out. She was asking,
That's why
when
they
you
should
have
cheat
this
then.
type of, exactly, because you could pay all that and then outlive it, and then that's all gone. So this information, all the information that you have, and when I say you can have side conversation with them in mod 5 to give yourself a chance to do the quotes and even the whole build more rapport here if you feel like you haven't made that connection. Those conversations, you can bring that up in Mod 5 when you're addressing the wonderfulness of having permanent whole life, price lock, all of those things. Insert conversation here. Those useful pieces of knowledge that because of something they've said in a previous mod or whatever the case may be, you're gonna have those conversations in Mod 5 before we get to Mod 6. So those types of things, anything that you've learned that you know is going to, that you need to address with them, address it around a benefit of the product or throughout the call. Again, typically Mod 5, because this is where you're going to be having conversation and talking about why what you found for them is so wonderful, but that's where you're going to want to have those conversations. Mod 6 is the congratulations, the quote logic behind that. We're going to go high with whatever the face amount is and go a little bit lower with the monthly cost. High with the face amount, lower with the monthly cost, but tone again is huge. The main thing is taking advantage of the approval. And then we're gonna go back into the application. So they pick their amount, wonderful, sounds great. I know for sure that that is going to have a positive impact on beneficiary 1, 2, and 3. If they've given you 7 kids, you don't want to keep sounding like, so I know Mikey, Richard, you want to use names as much as possible, but if they have a list, you can call. I know your girls will love that you've done this for them, or the guys will love that. You want to make it personal. You want to sound conversational, not sound scripted. So if they I know the family, even though we want to use names, I know the family or John and the kids, you want to make it sound like you would actually talk to them in real life and not. And I've heard it. I'm not saying it because it's funny. I've heard people say, so do you think Ricky, Mikey, Susan, Mark, and Charlie will have, like, I know the kids and the grandkids will love to have this. I know that the family will really love. So using it, or you can occasionally bring, so I know between Mike, Sam, make a joke of it because you want them to know that you've been listening, but you don't want them to feel like you have a list of all their people and it just takes away from
Mike, Sam,
the
Joe,
genuineness.
Brian, look, wait, where
Or
am
you can even say, let me see if I got this right, because I know you gave me a couple of them. Did you say boom? And this is just in conversation and just making, again, the script come to life. All of the cheese. Cheese is good. Cheese is good, but you want, the script is live. So you want them to feel like you're talking to them and you don't want them to feel like they're being sold at all. That's the fastest way to not get them help. And it's not even that they don't need it. They just don't trust you. They don't feel the genuineness. And now you're back at the first 30 seconds of the call where they're like, they get quiet. You still with me? I hear you quiet. Miss Susan, you there? What's going on? Or again, if they're talking in the background and this person's coming in and you stop. You're not competing with everything that's going on. You stop so that they are aware of the fact that, oh, let me pay back attention to Miss Crystal. She got quiet. You still there? Yep. I was just letting you finish up because this is important information. I want to make sure that you understand and get it all.
They've been around a long time. They can tell when somebody's trying
And
to sell them.
Cheesy in the wrong place.
not even that too, another thing to keep in mind, like these are older people that you're talking to, have a conversation with them. There will be so much stuff that you'll learn just from this job and from your clients that you can learn something from anyone if you are open to it. Don't think that now when it comes to final expense, you know more than there is to know about them. So don't let them take that from you, but be open to hearing them and talking to them and really getting them to tell their stories. And Mod 4, get them to talk about it. You may be able to get a story from them that really touches you that you can share and use with other clients that may help them make the decision to cover their family. All right, so Mod 7. We'll go back to the application so that we can click through, because Mod 7 is the data pool. Mod 7 is the actual application. We will go back into that and then we'll do Mods 8 and 9.
Are you gonna Zoom?
Yep, so I'm gonna send you guys the link right now.
I was just glad that to see that you could use Zoom for actually something else besides a face. You know what I mean? Oh, I've never seen it
Screen
use like that.
sharing is pretty nice.
That's very nice.
And actually, think it'll just let me restart the meeting from yesterday. So
Well, I
that
think
link,
I deleted that.
you delete, happy? You just don't like it? I'll resend it.
Well, I
I
mean,
like
just
it.
to keep it cleaned up in my inbox, so I
You can
deleted a bunch of
also,
stuff.
you can also make a folder, which will be helpful. You guys will want to make a folder on your desktop for those policies. You don't need them because it is housed in Prosperity's portal, but I think it's helpful too after we haven't gone into the email that you guys send out, but there's an email you will send after each policy that you make.
That says like
It's,
for January 31st of like 2021,
Don't know
or
what you're talking
3:30.
The
That
link
link?
from yesterday?
Yeah.
yeah,
So I
I
think
haven't
that
gotten back there.
maybe they recycle their links.
yeah, meeting set for 1:19. It's not gonna work.
It's okay. Give me 1 second. Un segundo. Does it end with 6370?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead and jump back on that one now. I'll resend it if I need to for anyone that does not have it.
Oh, now it's working. Yeah.
6370.
This, yeah.
Cheryl.
I clicked that one. I'm done, Sylvia.
Agent licensing, she's asking that I call her.
I worked way more Medicare
should we do
season
Paula
than you
now?
did. I hated it.
She said at 10:30, so 12 minutes.
I had so much trouble with it.
Would that be okay?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, you got
Because
a
I
email?
don't even know what she's talking about, and I'm literally looking at my official record, so this lady's legit tripping right now.
Don't stress it. And
I'm trying not to because I'm like, what she's accusing, I wouldn't have been able to even get a license in the state of Florida or any other state.
Remember what I told you before, how they had my stuff all messed up? Something has your stuff all messed up.
I
no,
mean-
and it could
Yeah.
just go in with the expectations of just clarifying and not.
I'm
That's
trying
not the
to, but this
best.
is like freaking me out, because I'm like, what is this, what is she referring to? Like,
And it could just be something simple, so we're not gonna stress, we're not gonna stress, we're not going to stress.
All it
I
has,
see you.
all it has is that lady on it.
I know, I see Karen too. I do, I see you and that's it.
You shouldn't be doing that, right?
It's okay, I just need everyone to jump on. The link, I have resent it. Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna, get the okay that I do some role playing this weekend with Angela.
You asking or you just telling
I'm
me?
just saying,
Yes, please.
okay.
Please, please, please. You have firsthand access to some wonderful stuff. I taught that lady. And I said, I taught that lady and she's good. So yes. You'd be cheating yourself not to do that.
Right, that's why I just wonder.
Mhm. All right, is anyone having trouble logging in?
I do, and I use a K-cup.
Hello, Miss Madison.
Oh, it happens
Hello,
all the
Miss
time.
Susan. I don't know who the final expense
I'm
ones
like, this ain't
are.
the cappuccino I get, you know,
There's
it's vanilla
one.
cinnamon, I see that, but not
There
this.
is that one.
Girl. Go to
they'll make me
Ollie's.
give you my cup and just tell you to bring me some coffee when you come in tomorrow. I'm just
I
saying.
go to Big Lots and I get their cinnamon vanilla cappuccino.
And I like they also have this really cool mocha blend. It's like a velvet dark chocolate. It's weird. It's a
Everyone
weird
make
one.
sure that their Zoom is muted.
Yes.
Miss Karen, can you make sure your Zoom is muted?
Is it not muted?
It might not be,
It is now.
I don't know. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mine wants me to hit screen share.
You just sit tight, Miss Hannah.
Thank you. Okay, don't worry. I'll have to trust you guys on that. Working out. Were you in that video?
Mm-hmm.
No, she can't see me. She can't see what I'm doing.
Alright.
She's
Is
so
that all of
sorry.
you? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mine's not working.
I don't want y'all to see me either. Give you guys my screen.
Yeah, see, even though you sent me the email just like yesterday, it keeps saying I'm tracked, it's because I'm still on his account, like, I don't have my own email. That's why I keep saying Travis for everything.
AMR? Who's AMR?
I don't know who that one is.
That's the old computer that you have.
Oh, I have AMR's old computer.
Oh, well, see,
Alright.
Recycle.
We did the same, removed it yesterday and it was back today.
Okay. Yeah, that's something we're gonna have to fix.
Mhm.
Alright, are you guys seeing my screen?
And
It says screen share, that's all I see. Okay, there we go. Double click to exit. Wait, the meeting will let you in. Very good.
Are you waiting to get in? You should already be in. Is
Please
everyone?
wait, the meeting host will let you in too.
You-
Oh,
you-
that's
no,
the,
I'm in, I'm looking at her screen, I see.
well, that's what
her.
hers says. I don't know if you
Oh.
Click exit it and just re-click from there.
No, it might, she might be in the waiting room. Give me a
Leave the
second.
meeting?
Oh, you have to approve it?
Don't leave the meeting. Ms.
Okay,
Hannah.
no problem. I won't.
You just.
Please wait, the meeting host will let you in soon.
Miss Susan, you on? You good, right?
Yes.
Oh, Miss Susan. Are you excited for tomorrow?
I'm so excited, honey. Oh my God, I can hardly stay in my chair. It's fine.
Yeah.
So
I'm
ready.
excited for you. I was even telling her, I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna do so great. I was
I
like, she already
know.
got 84 on her preliminary.
On the preliminary, I know.
And that's
I'm so
actually more
excited.
difficult than the real test.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's
good
why
to
I was like,
know.
oh my gosh, you got this.
Oh, yay, now I feel good. Yay, now I feel good.
You got this. I'm so happy
I
for
think
you.
the course excited. It's hard to
It
keep
is.
First two questions
Yeah,
are
of course
really,
it's-
really wrong.
Cause I did.
And
I
on
don't
the
know
other
what that
one,
means.
there's 4 questions on the test.
So all mine
They're
was
multiple
online.
choice.
Right.
2
So I
of
did
them
all
are always
practice tests.
absolutely
I did
awfully
all
wrong.
the
They're
quizzes.
terribly wrong. And the other 2,
And that was
if
like,
you don't know, you got a 50-50 chance, I guess, in the right answer.
Well, I'm just gonna continue doing what I'm doing. 'cause
All right,
I'm feeling
back. Let's bring it back. So everyone can see the screen. Can anyone not see the screen? Miss Hannah, can you see the screen? Are
I
you
can.
focused?
I
All
can.
right, beautiful.
Join with computer audio.
Just look.
I'm looking.
Hi there. It's currently
I'm gonna
10
score
plus
like
1.
100% on 6 or 8 portions.
All right, so we're gonna pick up where we left off. Search applications,
And lost.
Oh, she's driving.
search again.
She's driving.
Wow, this is so big. Oh, wow, Miss Ann lost.
So I noticed yesterday that it took you back
To the
like a
beginning.
couple of steps. Yeah, it didn't like save where you left off. It took you back.
The information is saved, but it takes you to the front of the application. It's the first page of the application.
Right.
But everything is saved, so you will have to click through. So remember, I'm not gonna keep reading through these because we've already done this. So we're gonna hit next. All this information is saved. We're going to click next. Next again. All of this is still there. All right, so now we are EFT always. Yes to both of these questions. Signing, do you consent to sign the premium payment authorization form? And do you understand that you will not receive premium notices? Again, we're not asking the client these questions. We are moving forward with the fact that they are at this point with us and we're assuming yes, assumptive selling. These questions will be directly and specifically asked, verbatim by underwriting when they call over to underwriting, so do not stress. Well, what if they say no, or what, don't they need to, they will respond yes on the recorded line with underwriting. And again, those statements are just asking them if they are authorizing the draft to be done. If they're giving you their account information, then obviously they are authorizing the draft to be done. And do they understand that the notices will not be sent? So they will not be notified each month through the mail about the premium payment. They are saying yes to having it done. It will automatically be done moving forward each month. And if they, for whatever reason, get insufficient funds or the payment does not go through, they will no longer be on automatic debits.
So they would have to redo that with the company.
We would have to go through the process of assisting them with reestablishing automatic debits.
So it's us, it's on me to service my own.
Not you directly, we do have some assistance back end, but if they fall off and that causes them to lapse, and how confident are you with just letting someone else handle that?
Seeing that it's the second time, I'm very comfortable letting them handle it the second time.
No. If you, I'm just not following up, not reaching out, not looking at, you still want to be on top of your business. So if they get charged an insufficient funds, they call in to do a manual payment, you want to make sure that they do get set back up with automatic payments. So again, that's something that back end is assisting with. There will be notes all through Agency Block. If anything is done via Miss Angela, Jason, or Miss Ashley, if they do anything to assist your clients, they are going to notate the file. You want to make sure you're doing the same thing because there is assistance available, but you want to help them to help you. So you want to make sure that you are documenting every interaction, making notes, pinning the last note so that they can see what is the most pertinent piece of information or what's going on with the client. So you just want to make sure you are on top of documenting your interactions. Yes?
Right. And so what I thought was when that call comes in, it might go into that department and they might go ahead and set it up, you know what I mean? It might get transferred to them.
It might, it could, it should,
Okay.
but at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're checking. You want to make sure that you're checking on your client and your population.
You would update the payment and auto pay through Prosperity's actual portal?
Yes, it's a phone call that's made, it's an email that can be submitted, just reach out to anyone, agent care, and send an email or request. By the time you do it once or twice, you'll know, but again, this is you shouldn't have to do it yourself. You should have assistance with it, but it is a document that would be sent over for Prosperity to reinstate the automatic debits. We will have a follow-up after you guys have been on the phone for about 2 weeks. We'll have a quick day, maybe a full day, or a half day of a little recap, retrain, and teaching you guys how to do policy input. So you guys will have more questions then once you're in it real life, you're seeing it, you have ask questions at the time that it happens, send an email, there's always assistance. But during that time, when we do the follow-up, you'll probably have more questions too, just for clarification.
So when we do hit the floor, especially like during our first week, are we gonna have like a buddy system? Are we gonna pair us up with people who are already out there?
So I will be working a lot. I will be available to you guys.
Because of the
but
bouncing back and forth on different screens and getting to navigate the technological part.
slow it down, don't overthink it. Your first day or two, no one will really, it's kind of bumble, get it right. You'll learn as you have to do.
Okay.
You will, for the first week, I believe I'm going to keep you guys together so that I'm available to have access to all of you. But then within a couple weeks, this is right now, because next week I may decide to sit you guys closer to others. I don't know, but currently you'll all be relatively in the same area. I'll be available to assist.
It's easier.
But again, don't overthink it. Once you know the process, the moving and shifting, you'll learn that and figure it out. When you guys do role play later in this week, today is later in the week. When you guys start role playing, so tomorrow and Thursday, you'll be on the floor with the multi monitors. Madison, how many monitors do you have? I suggest two. At least two, like your laptop and another, but we do three. We have two monitors and the laptop, and it makes life a lot easier. Okay, premium payment. In mod 7, in your notes, actually in mod 7 on the script, it gives verbiage for how we roll into the premium payment. That's information for you to be comfortable with so that you know how to request this without sounding scared or nervous, but you're going to, okay, in regards to the premium payment, do you receive your benefits on the 1st, the 3rd, if they receive benefits? Or you do get to select any date. I know you're still working, you get to select any date of the month to have your premium payment made. When is it that you want to have the premium payment made? They'll get their date. You can suggest the 1st or 3rd. Most people typically go on the 1st or the 3rd. But when is it that you want to have the initial premium payment made? You can even give them a date between now and 2 weeks from now because you want to keep it close. So it can be any time between now and the 10th of February. What works best for you? Most people pick the 1st. Sometimes they pick the 15th. You can go to the 15th, but ideally, since we're at the 20th now, I'd be pushing for the 20th. They're working, so they'll know, well, actually, I get a check on the 7th, so let's do it on the 7th of each month. I have a lot of bills that come out on the 1st. By the 7th, I should be good. Okay, so it'll be the 7th of February and the 7th of each month moving forward. Okay, and we move forward.
They can always switch their date if they needed to, right?
They can. You need at least, and in the warm down, we do let them know we need at least 72 hours to make any changes, but they can't always change their date.
Okay, so that includes changing the dates every 2 hours.
Okay. So first and last name, we're going to input it here. She is, who is it? Laura, Susan, Ann. And
Lost.
Lost. Now, the address on the account, so this is asking for the address for the account itself. So I know we have your address as the 808 Cape Cod Circle. Is that the same address associated with the account that the premium's coming out of? Yes, okay, perfect. And that was 808 Cape Cod Circle. All right, and you said that was Valrico, Florida. Now, self is the third option. Typically, you're selecting self, unless it is a wife, uncle, stepdaughter, stepson, son-in-law. This is asking who the relationship to the insured as far as the premium payments. If you are listing anyone besides the individual itself, that person does need to be. Any of this information is not the client on the phone. The person that is listed as the payer or that is associated with the account that the premium is going to be paid out of needs to be on the phone during underwriting because they do also need to provide their verbal signature for the premium payments to be made. So keep that in mind. Okay, perfect, Miss Andrea. Okay. And good, Miss Madison. You should be fine with the one extra monitor. After you do it for a little while, you may see that you want to have a second monitor, but your call. Or depending on how big it is and how many screens you have up, again, it'll be your call. But before tomorrow, we'll start playing with the multiple screens.
Okay, when you have a separate payer besides, somebody paying the bill besides grandma, she's got the policies on her. Okay, now here we are. We're going to have to take their driver's license number, aren't we? We're going to have to take that banking information and put that right there at that point into the GIAC, right?
GIAC. It's
GIAC.
only routing and account number that you need in GIAC. Every time. It's just routing and account number.
We don't need to ask them for their driver's license or anything. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
On policy effective date. Okay, so when it comes to the premium payment date, very important stuff, very important stuff. On policy effective date means that the date that Prosperity received this application is the date that this policy will become effective. So if anyone that's asking to have the premium made today or paid today, that is when you would select that first option on policy effective date, meaning that the policy will become effective on the date that they receive this application. So if it's on a specific day of the month, meaning they have the 1st or 3rd, or they're working and they give you a 1st or 15th or whatever the case may be, that is when you would select on specific day of the month.
Does it give you a calendar when you click that?
Yes, no, down below, I don't know, I don't like to lie, what is it? No,
Okay, so you could just like pull it up and.
Well, it says
'Cause if it's like
here,
the third
select a
Wednesday.
day from 1 to
You're
28,
just
so
putting-
you can put in a day.
you're putting in the
Numerical
actual
day.
day there, she was asking about the calendar, so
Oh,
let's say it's a
For like the
Wednesday option.
thing.
So with the Wednesday option, then you would select based on pay or birthday. That's why I kept saying that, but this is
Oh,
where.
yeah, okay.
So if it is a Wednesday, in the rare occasion that that does happen, because it's not, I'm not gonna say rare. So maybe 30% of the time you may have someone that has a Wednesday option. If they do, they will let you know. So you don't have to keep stressing the Wednesday. If you're asking about the 1st and the 3rd, and they actually get it on the 3rd or 4th Wednesday or the 1st Wednesday, or whatever the case may be, they'll usually jump in and say, well, actually, I get it on the blah, blah, blah Wednesday. So mention it one time so you can sound like you know, because that is an option that sometimes happens, but you don't have to stress that they will, by this point, you'll already know if it's a Wednesday or if it's the 1st or 3rd. So if they receive their benefits on the 1st or 3rd, we're not saying, when do you want to have your premium paid? Okay, what date do you receive your benefits? You said, okay, so the 3rd of the month and the 3rd of February and the 3rd of each month going forward. We're not letting them choose their date because you will not get paid. They won't have money. They will not have money. If they receive benefits on the 1st, we're taking that premium on the 1st. And that would be selecting specific day. Question, Ms. Hannah?
No,
Okay.
but it
So
could be
on
Thursday.
specific day of the month, rarely, but still we would select based on pay or birthday. And that will give you so if it's a 2nd, 3rd, once you put the birthday in, oh, my phone is there. Once you put the birthday in, it will open a new section for you to input the actual pay or birthday. If it is a spouse, that is where their benefits are coming from, then you would put the spouse's birthday, because the birth date is what determines what Wednesday or Thursday the premium is hit, or the the benefits hit. So Social Security goes off of the date of birth to determine what week they're receiving their benefits. Make sense? Okay.
Interesting, I didn't know that.
I was about 2 months into this and trying to figure out how, and then randomly I clicked on that and it was like, oh, the Wednesday thing is right there. So the Wednesday thing is
I've
right
been
there
collecting Social Security for a year.
and didn't realize.
So
So-
that's interesting.
Once you put the date in, it will change it to whatever the associated birthday is.
That might explain if some of those people out there, they have elected, here is what I learned from Social Security. I learned that if you're a spouse, you know what I mean, and you're collecting Social Security, you get it that 3rd Wednesday of the month. But if you're a husband, like a husband or whatever, they get it. But if you're not, and you're a spouse, and you're drawing spousal benefits off of that spouse, it comes the 3rd Thursday of the month. And so if you guys have people where you're putting them in for it to be taken out on a Wednesday, and it's coming out of that wife's money, you know what I mean? That might be why it's bouncing.
That doesn't happen often. If it does, they'll let you know. Typically, they'll say, oh, it's the 1st Wednesday of the month, and it really be the 2nd Wednesday, because a lot of times those benefits hit early. But that is kind of a one-off that would happen, and if it does, we're figuring all that out as far as the early request. But in regards to the ones they date, you'll just get the birthday. If it's their benefits, then it's their birthday. If it's the spouse's benefits, we put the spouse's birthday, and proceed. So, on specific day of the month, then you would just put in the date. So it does, let's say, specific day of the month, we'll go with the 1st of February. Now, if it's going to ask when you select that, if it is the draft charge linked to a monthly Social Security deposit, yes, it is. And then it'll open up a second question. Is the 1st or 3rd of the month selected above? Yes, it is. So it will give you those two if you select yes. If you select no, then it does not open it up. If you select yes, then it does give you a second question to ask. And then you're going to ask the client, okay, and what is the name of the bank account in which you want to have the premium drafted out of? They will let you know. And that is when you're going to go into GIACT. What's on your screen for me now? Is it still showing my screen?
It's
Yeah.
Google.
Okay. So you'll open up your GIACT. It should already be saved so that it can be quick. And then you're going to get the account information.
Single page. 99%. And the codes. Looking for the green.
So I just picked 2 random numbers that were in there. But then you're going to go Control-C, Control-V, and input your information. And I do the same with the account, the bank name too. It just makes it easier. If you double click on top of whatever you're doing, it'll highlight whatever you want instead of you having to drag it. So double clicking is the fastest way. I don't have my mouse connected to this computer, so that's why I'm kind of going that route. But it's a lot easier when you have multiple screens and actually have a mouse that you're using. So then you select checking or savings. You want to make sure that you are selecting the correct checking or savings because that could impact the Prosperity being able to verify the account. So you want to make sure that that is correct as well. And you hit next. Next page is beneficiary information. Now, remember, we are only inputting throughout the entire application. You are only inputting things that have this symbol here, meaning that it's required. So the exclamation mark is what you're looking for. If there's no exclamation mark, we are not going to stress that. We're going to move forward. Now, the only time that you want to make sure you add something that's not an exclamation mark is at this page where you are going to get the phone number of at least one of the beneficiaries. So at least one beneficiary phone number you are going to want to retrieve. So primary is always first, and it will give you can put in up to 3 primary beneficiaries and up to 3 contingent beneficiaries. If they have more, then there's a notes page at the end of this application that you can notate all of the beneficiaries. So you can actually select in primary. This is just a best practice. I have not heard from them because recently it just seemed to make sense, and we decided to put C agent notes. Primary, C, and this is if they have more than 3 primary beneficiaries, because if not, then there's a form that you have to request to send it, so on and so forth. You again want to make this part of the process, the application, you want to make it as seamless as possible and as easy as possible. So you can let them, if they're overthinking it, they're like, well, I want to see, because we'll do this now. You can always change it, which they can. That's why you have me. You can always change it in the future. But for now, I know you've been talking about Harold the most, so we'll put him down as primary, and move forward. If that's the husband, you will put Harold down as primary, and then we'll put the kids on as contingent. Having that assertiveness and confidence, casually confident, and not say, okay, well, what do you want to do? You want to say, okay, I know you talked about the husband, so we'll put him down as primary, and the two kids will put the girls on as contingent, meaning if Harold passes before you, then the girls will receive the benefits. It's easier if you already know that you've been talking to her, she's already set this up, just let her know. If she does not agree with you, she will let you know, and then you can say, oh, okay, well, we'll do that. But what we don't want them to do is overthink it. Let me call you back. I really just don't know. We'll put Harold down. And was she lost? None of this other information is required. Social security number, street address, zip code, city, state, date of birth, relationship to insured. You do need to put that. So we'll put Harold as the husband. And the percent of proceeds. So we're gonna put him as 100%. In order to move past this page, you have to have the beneficiary percentage to be 100. If you have two and you have one at 40 and the other one at 40 and you have 20% missing, it'll have 80 at the bottom and it won't let you move forward. So you'll have to add a third beneficiary, give them the 20% or split the top two 50-50 or 75-25. You can do it any way you want. You just want to make sure that it equals 100%. If they have three beneficiaries, one of the three does have to have 34% because you cannot split 100 evenly three ways. So we'll give, I know Michael's the oldest, so we'll give him 34% and we'll give the two girls 33%, okay? Okay, sure, move forward. If she's like, oh no, I don't think, well, you can't split 100 evenly three ways, so do you want one of the girls to be at the 34? I know Michelle, you said she's the one that takes most control, so we'll give her 34 and give the other two 33. Okay, that makes sense, that works. If you want to change it, you can always change it, but we'll get it down for now and we'll move forward.
Do they have to include a family member as a beneficiary, or can it be just whoever they want?
There's a drop-down list. There has to be insurable interest. So it gives you these options. It won't let you do anything outside of these options. There might be, no, not for this section.
You
I
could
say
leave it
if
your
it's-
business partner.
That wouldn't be this. It says domestic partner, so that, just to clarify, I mean, a lot of people live with somebody for the past 20 years, but they've never really officially married. That would be a domestic partner. Okay.
Right. Business partner does not, there's no option for
There's
business
no option for
partner.
that.
If that is something that they seriously want to have done, then you would select an option that's close and make a note inside of the agent notes.
Typically, that would be like a different type of insurance.
Yeah, it's a
They'd be
different
trying to
insurance.
push
Yes, typically it would, but
So yeah, we're not gonna stress the one-offs because they are just that, and it's not likely that that will happen, but if it does, select something that's close and make a note in the agent notes. So he is her husband. He is 100%. Are there any additional beneficiaries? No. And this is asking about primary because it does then ask, are there any contingent beneficiaries? Yes, no, or whatever the case. Well, it's either yes or no. So contingent meaning if the primary passes first, then it goes to the next in line. So you don't want to stress them out, give them too much. Well, there's a they'll a lot of times ask before, well, what if I don't want him, or what if he passes before me? Well, we'll list the kids as contingent, or we'll do this as contingent. So you don't have to over explain. Want this to be as simple and easy for them to swallow as possible. So again, if they have a contingent, then we select yes. If they do not, we select no. So we'll select yes so we can look at the next page.
Do you, I mean, out of all the policies that are written, how many have a percentage, 10%?
Have a contingent? A lot.
Really?
a lot of tons of them. have a
Especially
secondary.
if they have a spouse, they're about the same age, or even just a child and you want to put the grandkids on there so they don't feel like they're left out, or they've been talking about the grandchild so much that you feel obligated to let them put it on there just so they feel good and I've been listening. So we'll put Susan on, your daughter Susan on as primary, and God forbid she passes before you, we'll go ahead and put Layla on as contingent, okay? And okay, that's fine, and you proceed as needed. So we'll put Lynn,
Is anybody else on there?
your code. I think that's just outside because I don't even feel it blowing, but you
I don't
can.
feel blown.
And 7
I'm
here.
comfortable.
You're comfortable?
Your code.
It's
I
not
think
even
that's
odd.
It's like
outside.
I wear my fit jacket and I get I wear a regular one now.
Keep something here. I usually have something at my desk.
Yeah.
So in this we have options. So we're in the contingent section. Again, we want to at least in the primary, you want to put a phone number. Contingent, you don't need to. We want at least one telephone number in the beneficiary section. And I say that because even though the system or the application is not requiring it, you want to have a second point of contact for your client. So you want to get it in the application, that way it's smooth and easy, but when you go to agency block, you do want to make a specific note with the beneficiary and the phone number so that if you can't get a hold of them, you need to reach out, the policy lapses. If you call someone and say, hi, Miss Ann has you listed. I know we spoke. She has a policy. You're listed as beneficiary. I just was trying to reach out because I couldn't get a hold of her. Chances are Miss Lynn is going to help get her mother on the phone or make that premium payment because now she's thinking about the fact that, oh goodness, mom has something in place. If she dies, then if this policy lapses, there goes getting some money to cover a fund. So they're more than likely willing and able to assist you with getting in contact with the insured. And also, because remember, these people come over, you call them after you get off the phone with them, they may get 65 other calls and just from 800 numbers or who knows who, and they just get tired of answering their phone for a week. The person that is listed as beneficiary, not many people probably have that number, and it'll be an easy number to call, get through on without stress because they've been stressed or been called or whatever the case may be.
If you don't get through, do you usually just leave a voicemail for both or for none?
Leave a voicemail. Yeah, you can leave a voicemail. This is in regards to Miss A. You don't want to give too much information at all, just because of privacy and privacy
Well,
laws.
like for like if you Miss Ann didn't answer the phone because maybe she's answering the 800 number.
You can leave her a message. Yeah, for sure. The contingent though, if you have to call a backup, you don't want to leave too much information on their voicemail, or even give them too much information. Yeah, or give them too much information. But yeah, you can say this is in reference to your mother, Miss Ann's life insurance policy. Give me a call back. Just trying to get a hold of her. Can you give her a call or tell her give me a call? This is her agent. Keep it simple. Move forward. Percentage of proceeds again. We're not going to go through breaking it down. It has to be 100% even. However you break it down, 100%, 34, 33, 33 if you're listing 3. If you are, let's say she has more, we want to make it simple. Okay, we'll just put down 3 for now. Or if there's just 4 and you don't want to go through the whole sending the form and additional beneficiary, it's called a beneficiary change form. If you don't want to go through all that, it's easy enough to, again, put general or generic information in these fields. So first name, C, last name, agent notes. So C, agent notes, and the percentage would be 100%. The person would be a trust, anything, because you're telling them to see agent notes. And in the note section on the next page, you'll notate all 4 beneficiaries, 25%, and the relation.
In Prosperity, we just go in and do it.
They'll do it
Charitable
without you
trust.
having to,
Much easier.
without you having to do the documentation afterwards.
Now, when
Like we do
Prosperity
at church.
does, when you're on the phone with them and they're going through the whole underwriting process, are they also going through beneficiaries and contingents with them?
No.
Okay,
So they do not, because remember, this is Applicable that we're going through underwriting with, and then Applicable is gonna send Prosperity the information.
well, yeah.
So, yeah, so no, they do not, the last thing that they will ask them about is the account information and have them do some verbal signatures, but they do not touch on, this is the one page, good question, this is the one page that they do not, or the 2
I'm
pages.
thinking in my head, man, they're gonna go through all of this.
No, everything but this though, they do
Okay.
go through, yes. So, and you guys can see on the screen where it does calculate the amounts, percentage total for contingent beneficiaries, so it must be 100%. Remember you were asking Ms. Hannah about the addressee, secondary addressee?
Mhm.
You can put that information here.
What would that be?
If they
Right.
want someone else to be notified if anything were to happen with their policy,
Oh,
then
The word to lapse,
you would put it here.
to keep it from lapsing.
So you input that information, this person would be notified if anything's going on with the policy, i.e. a payment not going through and it being in danger of lapsing.
so you can speak
Yeah.
to the secondary addressee just as you would to the client because they're actually.
They just would receive notice.
No.
It's an addressee, meaning they would mail them notice about the policy lapsing.
Okay.
Sorry, I will not keep talking to you guys.
Get a bill.
She's got a hiccup.
It's okay. It's happened to all of us.
Okay, and then you hit next. And this is the last page of the application, the agent certification page. When you guys go in initially and input your information in that Prosperity link that you got, that welcome, the welcome email, and it'll have you set up your stuff. Make sure you put your work email there, especially if you have an email that is something that you do not want to have the clients hear, because this is the email that you will confirm. I apologize. This is the email that you will confirm every time moving forward. Your agent number will pre-populate. This information will pre-populate. I believe it's after the first call that you make. I don't remember. Mine's been there for so long. I don't know if it did the first time on each state. But either way, it's just your email address, your first and last name, and the phone number, which is the office number. So you guys want to make sure that you are aware of that phone number, because they do ask you on the call. When you call over, they will ask what is the telephone number that you are calling from. Above that, it is asking about the replacement. To the best of your knowledge and belief, there is an existing life insurance policy or annuity contract insuring the proposed insured's life. They ask at least 2 or 3 times. 2 times in the application, I believe 3 times on the underwriting call about replacement. So you want to make sure that you are answering it truthfully. To the best of your knowledge, replacement is or may be involved in this transaction. Also put no there, and then you select finish at the end. Once you hit finish, which I will not do, it will populate a reference ID number and the phone number to Applicable. That's the phone number that you are going to call, the reference ID number that you are going to provide to them. You want to make sure that you notate that reference ID number, because once it goes away, then you have to go to search applications to pull it up to give it to underwriting. That's just more steps and it takes a while. So before you hit OK, so you hit finish, pop-up pops up with the applicable number to call and the reference ID number for this application. Underwriting will ask for the reference ID number, so you're gonna wanna copy and paste that in your notes that you're taking, write it down, do something so you have it, because if you hit OK, you do have to hit OK for underwriting to see the application. Once you hit OK, it opens it up for them to be able to see. If you haven't hit OK and you still have that pop-up up, they'll say, well, we see that the application's still in progress. Can you hit OK so we can see it? So you want to hit OK before you have them look for it, because they can't access it if you are in the application. So remember, we're starting the application, but, Applicable is going in and verifying, asking the questions, checking on everything, making sure that everything that you have input is correct. So you wanna make sure that you are thorough, period. But just in general, you wanna make sure you're doing everything you do and you close that out before you move forward with, hitting okay.
I have a question about policy effective date for a person paying right now today, you know, the policy starts today. How is the conditional receipt handled? It's just their record on their end,
There's no, once that initial premium is paid, that's
That's
when
the
they
receipt.
become.
that's their receipt. Okay, we don't actually, this doesn't generate another one that gets sent to them.
And the initial premium, if it's requested for the day that the policy is written, it does not, it will not be paid until about 2 days later. So we'll set us up for today,
Mhm.
but the initial premium may not come out until Friday, but then it will be on the 20th of each month going forward. We'll let them know that.
Right.
So,
So I just want them covered, you know, because they
Right.
paid, they bought, and if they passed away right then, you know what I mean? It's in the
Right.
system.
Yeah,
So
what
they
would
need
that
the
be,
record.
like if they passed away the next day and prosperity hadn't processed it yet,
it's already voice authorized, everything, the signature is done, they're good to go.
So they would honor it,
Yes.
that's good to know.
If there's still the 2 years, depending on if they're level
Oh,
or
yeah,
graded.
true.
And also the life insurance companies have that 2-year contestability period to where they can check to make sure it was valid, because if anything was not true, be it on the recording or not, then they're not going to honor the policy.
Unless it was an accidental death.
Accident.
Up at the top that you were just at, so if they did have a policy in place, what would it look like? When you click up at the top, the first one where you click
No,
through,
so it's going to
like
be,
if you hit yes, what would it say? Right here, no,
I know, I'm gonna go back, cause I have to go back to, cause it asked before, a couple times before, about them having coverage, so that's just another, you can put yes there, you can put yes and yes, it's just gonna mean that they have additional questions to ask or additional disclosures that they'll have to listen to during underwriting.
So like if they have a term policy that they have right now, and then they get this on top of the term policy, that would be a yes, we have an existing policy?
But no, we're not replacing it.
Okay, right.
That's
Um,
really confusing, the answer is.
what's that?
Oh, where at the end you have to mark, you know, no, I'm going to send you a blank application package so that you can follow along with the interview. I thought we were to always answer that one, no. Yeah, but it's above it, it says, please make sure to mark it yes to the next question.
If the application agrees to receive the package documents by email or mail along with a validation code. So you're going to have to wait for the validation code, and you don't have to do that. So you're going to hit no so that you can bypass waiting for the validation code, but you are going to send it. So you're going to send it,
Text.
you're just going to manually send it. If you hit yes, the system's going to send it. So hitting no allows you to move forward and manually send it on your own.
Mhm.
Yes?
So when you hit yes, would it ask you the company's name of the policy that they already have?
So we'll put yes here. And then, so if you hit yes, this out of the way. If you hit yes, then it opens up the second question. Is the insurance applied for to replace any of the existing blah, 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 blah?
No.
No. You can put yes, but again, that's gonna mean that they have additional stuff. So when we get to the end of the, please say it's all safe.
Yeah, because they want to make sure you're not twisting or turning it,
Mm-hmm,
which is a no-no.
mm-hmm.
Let them keep more money.
And they could keep it.
That's what I'm saying, why would, I don't understand the logic of replacing
If
the
it's not,
policy.
if it's not good, or they're paying something that is not worth it, or they realize that their policy is going
Expiring.
to expire, or there's a lot of reasons why they could, honestly, in very have a valid reason for wanting to replace the policy.
But they just wanna make sure that it's not you stating that, oh, we need to replace your policy, because I don't think.
It would be
Making
that
sure
their
that
idea
that's
that
a
they
no-no.
mentioned they wanted.
That
For
is
the,
not
in the
good.
best interest of the client. So
Client,
if you
correct.
do select that they have other policies in place, this section will open up for you. So even though I put no to replacement, then it does give you an additional page here to input the information. But remember, even with this other insurance section, we are only going to input the information that has the exclamation point, only the needed information. You don't want to stress yourself out or put yourself in a situation where you're inputting just a bunch of stuff that is not needed. So are there any other life insurance or annuity applications pending? This is asking about pending applications. They should not have any other pending applications. So that would be a no. And then below, again, this is just,
Oh, so it doesn't really
You don't
ask
need-
you for anything. Okay.
now on the page following, so is there any other coverage? No. Once you hit next, it does give you, oh, it does not. So it was another page that had, they updated it, had another policy page where it was basically the same information twice, but I'm glad they took it out because it made no sense. I called them about it as well, but if it comes up or if it should not because it's not there now, but you just input the name, it'll ask for the name of the insurance, the name of the insurer, and the insurer, which is the company, the insured, which is the client, and I think that's it. It may have the face amount. But again, that should not populate. That was populating, but it does not any longer. So then these answers, you want to make sure that you're staying true to whatever you stated. So you said yes before. It is a policy that they previously had, so that would be a yes. Is it replacement? No. And then again, at this page, you would select finish. Once you select finish, then it is going to open up that page with the applicable information and the reference ID or the application ID. Yes? All right. So we're gonna take a break. It's 10 minutes after, so 11:25. See you guys back.
Thank you.
Mhm.
You know, I received those benefits, but I actually received mine on the last Thursday of the month.
Do you want to leave the meeting or are you gonna?
I know.
We're done with Zoom. If we go back into it, then I'll resend the link.
As opposed to the mister who gets his, just like you guys say, on that Wednesday. And common law wife is not applicable in Florida. There are only a few states that have that now.
You good, Toy?
Ohio used to have it until 1995.
Cause they want y'all to pay that tax money.
Maybe, yeah, that's it. You go.
It's all about money. What did we ask you for? I know, I'm just getting out people say how to email. Oh, so they show you or they show something.
No, this is what she's showing me, but I know this
It's not,
yeah, right, and
So they're
that's,
gonna, so
and so no,
does it tell you what company that,
no,
that
that
they
she
use?
hasn't told any of that, but that's okay.
Cause I
because
wanna
I'm-
know so I can say I
It's
can
okay,
put
cause
an
I'm
appeal.
no, because see, what does this say? Official records right here.
Oh, yeah, I got
Alright,
mine
so,
too.
yeah, so
I already have it
everything
highlighted, so I'll send it over if she asks me.
and that's what I'm about to send
But
her
I'm
right
also
now.
wanting to know who they pull that from, so I can, like, when I told you with the rental thing going on, that I can appeal it so that they fix it. Well, I'm actually doing my expungement stuff. But until then, who knows how long that'll take.
And I'm trying to find this case number that she got. Actually, I don't even have it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Miss Tony, honey, I am so glad you're here today. Let me just tell you, your words this morning, I just feel so good.
Aw, you're
I have studied since the end of November. And I do know, I believe, maybe tell me what you think. If I'm looking at a question, there'll be 3 things that are similar and one that's way out there. That's the one I'm gonna choose.
Right.
Because consistently through the questions, that's what I've seen. That's like my only cheater method. I really believe as long as I completely read the question and read all of the answers, I think I'll be fine. I'm trying not to stress about it.
You don't need people freaking out, okay?
That's right. None of that today. That was my day yesterday. Jeez. I should make public apology probably, but
Just
Yeah, here we
own it
are.
and move forward.
She gets you straight.
Hang on, again, I'm restarting your computer.
Okay.
No.
Oh, you're gonna fix something on there. You're gonna get rid of Erica or Correa. That's great, thank you. Correa. What was I gonna tell you? Oh, yeah. From that job that I had to do yesterday in the morning, I still had to go back on there again today. I believe that they finally, after 10 months, have it fixed. And 16 different people. Thank you.
Hold on 1 second. It's not done yet.
Okay, I know.
But you can jump on.
I got you. It's just clean.
And today you're giving me.
Yes, because you
If
got
that, then get the wheels just right.
Yeah. And I did it like 2 times yesterday.
I heard you whacked up, what was that, with your leg?
Yeah, first time I did it with my leg and then I did it with the darn chair. So you have to be careful because it'll hit that little thing and you rock the whole thing.
Okay. Ooh. Who has their list, the round robin role play list up?
Email.
Role play.
I'm looking.
Number 2, number 3, number 4, which
We've
one?
done 1 and 2 already.
Calling from myself.
So I am with KB.
Okay. So you finished doing that thing?
No, I'm getting everything right now.
So we're gonna do some role playing, wonderful people. We'll do. I want Miss Hannah and Miss Toy to be available, so give me 1 second.
My machine is not up yet.
I'm seeing that, Miss Hannah.
Okay, I just reminded you that if I'm a little slower at doing it, that's fine. No pressure on you, Jason, okay? Thank you. I appreciate you.
No pressure, Jay.
Thank you.
I'll do my best not to cry.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, 1 down and on